Jason Wimmer's on here.
13 the bucks. What time did I want to find the car shop with the retail?
All right, it is
What's up?
6:01. So we are going to turn it over to Dr. Gary Gray, who's ESU's Director of Athletics.
Hey, thanks everybody. We just ask you to mute your mics. If you're not talking, that'll help prevent feedback. Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining us this evening. Tonight's event marks the official kickoff of the Warriors football locker room campaign, but in reality, a lot of groundwork has been happening for several months now, thanks to our partner in this campaign, the ESU Foundation. Thanks and a stellar committee of alumni and friends who are committed to this project, probably all who are on this call tonight. Working together, our plan is to raise $750,000 to rebuild the existing visiting team's locker room in Kaler Fieldhouse into a brand new state-of-the-art, amazing Warriors football locker room. It's going to be beautiful. First and foremost, I'd like to send out a special thank you to some of our guests with us here tonight. ESU Interim President, Mr. Ken Long, co-chairs of the campaign committee, Mike Terwilliger and Pat Flaherty, and members of the executive committee who are working tirelessly and have been now for a few months on the campaign alongside the ESU Foundation staff, including former head coach Denny Dowds, who I just saw a little bit ago here on my screen. To give you a little background, this campaign started with Rich Santoro and a team at the foundation, working with athletics and football leadership. Committee co-chairs Pat Flaherty, Mike Terwilliger, two respected and committed alumni of this program, agreed to lead the way. And from there, an executive committee of 15 alumni and friends of the program are spearheading the fundraising effort. It takes a lot of people. Beyond the executive committee, we're expanding with additional members who are helping in this outreach effort. The $750,000 campaign not only includes 110 beautiful cherry lockers sponsorships, but also significant naming opportunities for leadership gifts of support. Donors may sponsor a full locker for $5,000 or half a locker for a gift of $2,500 and then share that name on the locker with another alum. To date, the committee has already sent out 110 information packets, resulting in $122,500 in gifts of support, and they've made outstanding asks totaling $487,000 that are under consideration. We've generated a lot of momentum, and we're looking forward to seeing the result. And you know, to be candid, this is the most exciting fundraising campaign I've been involved with all of my years as a Division II athletic director at 3 schools. This is just way fun. This is great. So we'd like to kick off this evening with some outstanding messages from our co-chairs, former head coach Denny Dowds and head coach Jimmy Terwilliger. After that, we'll have some time for questions and catching up with one another a little bit. So Warriors, sit back, relax, and here we go.
Accountability is a big thing in our football program. I'm accountable to the Warriors of the past, the Warriors of the present, and the Warriors of the future. I hold people accountable for their actions and the way we live our lives every day. Everything that we do is to make East Stroudsburg University proud in our football program. The way we train, the way we practice, and the way we live is something that we believe in. I'm accountable to put our guys in position that they can succeed after this college education and their football experience. I'm proud of who we are. I'm proud of the work ethic, the competition level, and the willingness to do it the right way. The way of the Warrior is the way of life here at East Stroudsburg. It impacts our campus community in more ways than you can imagine. Being accountable, disciplined, service to others is something that makes a true Warrior. And at East Stroudsburg University football, we believe that what you do here is a small sample for what you do outside, and you take your education, you apply it to the next facet of your life, promoting it to the communities, making this society a better place to live. Leadership. People come to see us play. We want to inspire them. You know, we want to play motivational football. We want the people to be proud to wear Warrior red every Saturday afternoon. I'm proud to be a Warrior. When you come here, the blood runs thick, and when you come to East Stroudsburg University, it's truly Warriors for life. My name is Jimmy Terwilliger, and I'm a Warrior.
Mike Terwilliger, I'm co-chair of raising the drive for the football locker room.
I'm Pat Flaherty, I'm co-chair of the locker room.
Hey, it's just really a special day to be out here and stand in the end zone with my best friend. He's been the guy that snapped me the ball for 4 years, the best man in my wedding. And we met here at East Stroudsburg University, and it's just really a special thing to be standing in the end zone today. Be the co-chair of a project right now to raise money to build a locker room here at East Stroudsburg University, and to do it with you Flats is just really a special thing now.
Twig, I appreciate that, and the feelings are the same, believe me. And we're just happy to be here and kick this off to reach out to all the Warriors of the past and the present. And the most important thing, I think, is once a Warrior, always a Warrior forever. And we have an opportunity right now to help the modern Warriors. And we're reaching out to you, and we know that what you're made of. We're in the trenches together, and we found a way to win.
And there's just something special about a locker room. It's kind of like standing here in the corner of the end zone. This will never change now. I mean, the tradition and reputation in a football program here at East Stroudsburg is special. And what we want to give everybody the chance now is to put your name on a locker so some young man can come in and he can sit there and he can say, hey, there he is. Who was Pat Flaherty? Who was Mike Terwilliger? And we're going to do that here and building this locker room.
It's going to be fun, and it's going to be neat. And, you know, again, for the past Warriors, you remember the days when we were in our locker room, and, you know, we told a lot of stories. Some stories we don't want out, others we do. And that's really for the future Warriors with this new locker room. It's going to give them something that is needed, not only for recruiting, but for also the Warriors of the future to build their own team and to be able to trust one another and go to school, get an education, graduate, and be the best that they can be. And again, the most important thing is to make sure that they carry on this winning tradition of East Stroudsburg University.
Yeah, and you look at it, Flats, you turn the clock back. You and I came here in 1974, and the tradition of the football program, and at that time the field house was 6 years old. We were in a decent locker room. In '92, we turned it over again. 110 guys stepped up. Well, guess what? It's 2020, and it's time to step up. So this is just something we really look forward to doing.
Yeah, and you know, again, it gives the current football players a chance to take their pads off after practice, and they don't have to take them in the old drying room and hang them on those hangers. And probably, I haven't been in there in ages, but it's probably the same hangers, I'm sure. But it gives them an opportunity to just relax, you know, with an academic center in there in the present and the future locker room. Also, you know, just gives these players a chance to spend as much time as they can together, not only on the football field, but off the football field.
And Flats, to be able to do this thing and take the steps forward with you, from the bottom of my heart, is special.
Well, it is, and again, it's something that Twig and I decided that we were going to co-chair this, and you know, it's a lot of fun. And what I found in reaching out to guys I haven't talked to in 35, 40 years, you know, and just to hear their voice and talk about the old times, you know, again, I talk about when we were in the trenches together, you know, whether it's the linemen I played with or the skilled guys, you know, it was special. You know, when you play at East Stroudsburg University, you're gonna be friends for life, and that's a fact.
Reaching out, it's a real honor for me to be able to ask somebody if they would like to put their name in the locker room, because they really deserve to have their name on a locker. And in taking the time, it's great to go back and talk to people about what we went through here at East Stroudsburg, and to have their name on a locker, and just the thought of putting their name on a locker and asking them is powerful to me.
I agree, Twig. You know, when I'm talking with former players, former teammates, you know, I'm just telling them that, hey, this is an opportunity for you to be in the modern day locker room, you know, with your name on a locker, and you bring your grandkids up to see the locker room, and it's something that's really cool and neat. and for the future Warriors, you know, that they can see and find out what we were all about when we played here at East Stroudsburg University.
Because here at East Stroudsburg, memories never die. And it's something, when you bring up names, it's great to tell the stories. And that name on the locker room just takes you back in time. And the test of time's a great evaluator. Names on lockers now are powerful. So if they can, it's great to put their names on. And you know, the amazing thing, Flats, is we just started this thing, and where we're at, you know, we have 110 names that can go on lockers. That's what we're looking at.
Yeah, so come on out and join the team. This is the locker room campaign team that we're talking with you about today.
It is really something that's great to see you today, and we're going to do this for you.
Hi, I'm Denny Dodds, a former head football coach here at East Stroudsburg University. Today we're going to talk a little bit and take you on a little tour of the locker room that it was established in 1968 when they opened the Kaler Fieldhouse. We have a locker here called the Warrior, and that's number one. The game of football is not played by one person. It's played by a lot of people doing a lot of different tasks to be able to be successful. And so we said, we're never going to give that number out. However, our number one people are former players that played for us. And the Warrior locker meant that every one of our alums that played for us always had a locker in the locker room. If you're an offensive lineman, you have to wear a number between 50 and 79. Well, you figure out where 50 and 79 were located, and then you'd have all the offensive linemen in that particular area. So sometimes, maybe in this particular bin right here, where they had 30 guys, those linemen, and maybe they did look like sardines at times. There's so many memories in here, you couldn't write a book, you'd have to write an encyclopedia. Well, we won our first championship under my reign here in 1975. And one of the uncles of one of our players thought that was the same as the NFL. They had, let's say, some beverages that maybe you're not supposed to partake on a college campus, and particularly if you're under 21. And they were stacked up against the walls. And they were in here, by the time we got here, it was all over the place. And I said, hey guys, I hate to put a damper on this, but none of you guys are going to be in school on Monday if this thing continues to persist as it does right now. So all the guys, they got their towels, they put them up over the cases, and they carried them out to this guy's uncle's pickup truck. And they put it all in there, covered it up, and then came in here and cleaned the locker room after winning a state championship. Unbelievable. So we have laughed in here, we have celebrated in here, we've cried in here, and hey, we became a football team in here as well. Since 1950, we've had Jack Gregory, Charlie Reese, Denny Dowds, and Jim Terwilliger. Okay, almost 70 years. The average life of a head football coach in college football is 5 years. But that's the heritage, that's the tradition, and that's the legacy that we have here at East Stroudsburg University. We walk in the drying room right here. When practice is over and you've thrown all the stuff you want to get clean in the bins, you bring your helmet and shoulder pads, maybe shoes, and you hang it on this gadget right here. All right, this gadget right here is one of the hooks. In fact, I'll bet you there's not one person who sees this video that probably didn't use one of these things. Those are original. They're 50-some years old. Our wall of champions right here, everybody that ever played for the Warriors that won a PSAC championship is named on this wall right here. And the reason we do that is that every player that walks through this door here and they look at the wall, that's an example of where they want to have their names someday as well. You would be amazed the number of dads that bring their sons in and point to their name. And now it's not uncommon to see the grandfathers come in and show their grandsons and granddaughters where their name is when they won a championship as a young buck. We have a plaque here, and the players did this. Dr. Richard Dick Kruger, a true warrior. And Dick was our team dentist, and he went on to become one of the great kicking coaches, first kicking coach in our program. And along with that, when he passed, there were 11 punters and 11 kickers that showed up at his funeral. And we're talking people that had tryouts for the NFL, not one, but maybe as many as 5 of them. And so that's how people in our community get involved. You're not just an individual. You're coming into a family. Now, you want to have some fun? Go recruit an athlete, bring them in, and here comes mom and here comes dad, and you look down the hall, and there might be somebody there bare butt running across through that right there, and you say, excuse me, and eventually we put a curtain up. One time when I think somebody on campus got a great deal on paint, particularly from the United States Navy. They painted it that battleship gray. You talk about coming into a place that looked, I don't want to say looked like a dungeon, but it was close. This is the room that they're going to convert into the new Warrior locker room. Now, this used to be the visiting team room. If you see this locker right here, we probably beat this team about 55-6. Okay, this locker over here, we probably beat this team maybe 28-14. This is where we need the Warriors' help. We need your help. For Jim to be competitive in the PSAC, where most of the other teams have already done what we're talking about. This is where we need the Warriors' help. We need your help. Great talking today. Look forward to it. When you come by, you make sure you're wearing your red, rooting for the Warriors. Thanks.
My name is Jimmy Twilliger. I'm the head football coach, East Stroudsburg University, proud alum, quarterback from 2003 to 2006. You know, this campaign, this movement to win in the locker room first is valuable to all players because that's where you become a team. You know, that's where the magic happens. That's where you build the bonds that last a lifetime. The guys that, you know, were my best men in my wedding were all Warriors. The guys that will carry my casket will be Warriors. We're in the relentless pursuit of developing Warriors for life. To me, that goes a little bit further than Saturday afternoons. It's being a great husband, father, leader in your community. You embody the Warrior spirit. You know, to me, that's what Blood Runs Thick is. When I was an 18-year-old freshman, and I was born and raised around this football program, but when you're an 18-year-old freshman, you don't know who you are, and you don't know who anybody else is. You walk down to get your equipment, Bill Marsteller hands you the sizes. You walked from there to go see Frank Brown, who charged you $5 for a locker fee. We still don't know where that $5 went, by the way, Frank. But at that moment, I looked around. I'm in the locker 13 that was donated by Jim Cantafio at the time. And I said to myself, this is first class. This is it. I'm a college athlete. You know, our goal of this football program is to provide the greatest Division II football experience in the country. It's valuable to our players. It's valuable to our coaches. It's valuable to the future of East Stroudsburg in recruiting. When you walk into a locker room, to me, that's a statement of where your football program is. This place is a place where we can take recruitment photos, where people can be proud. Hey, look at this life experience. I was at the East Stroudsburg University locker room. The athletes at East Stroudsburg, when they walk into this locker room, they should be able to expect to find a home. This is not a place where you simply get changed. This is a place where you build this football team, you build this football program to the best Division II team in the country. When you get done taking care of business in the house that Denny built, and you walk up to this locker room, it should be an open concept where you have the ability to see the other guys on the floor and be able to talk back and forth and build those relationships that'll last your lifetime. We've also looked at designing, you know, the opportunity for having a platoon, you know, an offensive side and a defensive side. Having the ability to go, hey, offense, here's your adjustments, pre-practice here. And defense, Coach Lackey's got everybody on this side. You know, you have to have a space so that you have those separators. These lockers will be state-of-the-art 26-inch cherry wood lockers. It'll have a lockbox on top for your electronics. It'll have a charging station built directly into that lockbox. It'll have a cubby hole to put your helmet on top of the lockers where your shoulder pads will go into a drying system, connected to our HVAC. It is all lit up with LED lighting, so the first thing that pops is your name. When you walk in there, hey, there's Jimmy Terwilliger, 13. You feel special. It's something that cares about football. It cares about excellence. It cares about winning. There will be an extra storage system that opens up so our players not only can sit in their locker, but they can store stuff underneath their locker. And then below is where you put your cleats. In the current design for our lockers, we have a drying system on top of the lockers where you put your pads, so that when you come in after an August practice and things are sopping wet, you better be able to hang your pads and your helmet up and expect that be dried out so that mold doesn't grow, bacteria infections don't grow, and airborne illnesses. I think right now, more than ever, we have to be cognizant of space. We need to be cognizant of safety and welfare of our players. One of the additions to the locker room I think would be really neat is Coach Dowd's always talked about Greenwich time, what Big Ben said, and that was the official clock, and he'd make every freshman take out his iPhone and check Greenwich time. As a Warrior, you're expected to be 5 minutes early to class, 5 minutes early to study hall, 5 minutes early to practice, and the Greenwich clock will certainly be an addition to our 2021 locker room. You walk into this room and you see 110 plus lockers given by the guys that wore the red jerseys before them. That's the essence of Blood Runs Thick. It's important that our current players understand that they're not the only ones that have done it. You and I and we and us, we've done this. So let's develop these relationships. Let's do what we have to do to bridge the great tradition of the past to the unbelievable outlook for the future and develop those Warriors for life. And to me, I'm excited about this. It's something that we need. In a time where COVID and health regulations and guidelines have held us back in so many assets of life, hey, this is something that we can take and we can progress forward. The time is now. The stars are aligned. Let's exercise that gutso warrior feeling, that warrior spirit, and let's everybody circle the wagons, and let's do it now to show what Blood Runs Thick means.
Guys, I want to thank everybody for being on this Zoom call tonight and this campaign. That to me is really the essence of Blood Runs Thick. You talk about the tradition, the heritage that we have here, and I would look through and I see a ton of people from all different eras of football. It's a firm reminder to me that what we have here is just a little bit more than the football program. So I thank you. I thank everybody for being on this. There's no question right now of the need for this project, the timing of this project. The stars have aligned. I was joking, beforehand with some folks from the foundation, and I said, there's never been a football season where we could do something like this, get people together. Usually we're game plan. Heck, this is Millersville week. So Heinze, you know what Millersville week is like. You ain't sleeping during that week. And, to get everybody together on a Thursday night to advance this football program, to me is special. There's no better time to do this. Our locker room currently is the last facility in the Pennsylvania Conference. Everybody that we play, it's tough when you have, apples to apples, but when you have apples to lemons, it's a little bit more difficult in the recruiting end of it. This will be a showcase. This will be a show spot for the entire Division II. And when you look at what we're trying to do here, and provide the best experience in Division II football, well, we all live that. And right now, as we look at progressing this, you win in the locker room first, to me, is the first step. If I get asked the questions a ton, Twig, or most of you guys, Little Twig, hey, Little Twig, why now? Why the locker room? Why is that the first thing? What about the stadium? What about this and that? To me, every great football team I ever played on, ever coached on, they won in the locker room first. It's the place where you go and you spend more time than any place in the locker room. Heck, we play 5 days a year in the house that Denny built. But to me, you spend every waking day in that locker room. The guys that I played with, many of us slept in that locker room. We played cards in that locker room. some of the stories we can't even say. I know Coach Dowd's at the 75 championship beer drinking guys on there. We're going to keep some of them stories wrapped up as much as we can. But what I am going to say is that is where the magic happens. You know, to me, it's the greatest thing to be able to advance this football program. I'd like to answer some questions. And if you have questions, please type them into to Emily Brennan, the host of this meeting, and we'll try to get to them. If I can't answer them, Dr. Gray will be on. Ken Long, our new interim president, which we like to welcome, or members of the foundation can do that. Type your questions in, and we can go from there. But really, the thing that I want to really hit home with is the time is now. You know, I'm going to be blunt and ask, we need your help. What we're asking for is for 110 lockers to be sold at $5,000 a piece. What that's going to help us do is build the entire room. We're not selling lockers. We're building a locker room. It means flooring, lighting. That means HVAC, the entire thing. We are gutting it. We're doing it ourselves, and we're advancing this football program on the backs and the sweat of our own brows. And that's something that's important to me. Right now is a tough time for a lot of people, but the way I looked at it is this. My wife and I, you know, it was important that we did this. It's important for our players. I know it's important to the success of our football program. You know, at $5,000, I said to Ash, I said, hey, listen, you know, that's $1,000 a year. Break it down to $84 a month. We ain't going out to eat twice a month. That's where it is. And, you know, that's what we're asking for. Now, there are other opportunities to be able to give in bigger ways. There's a couple different people on this Zoom committee that have given in huge ways. I want to make mention of Doug Leonzi. Doug Leonzi, on behalf of the Old Hats, you know, dedicated $50,000 to the Wall of Champions, you know, in memory of the guys that he played with, the Old Hats. Mike Mancuso's on here, who bought $15,000 for a captain's locker. You know, as we go through here, guys, it's going to take more than just, you know, individual lockers. But if you can, and if it's in your heart, speaks to you to be able to do this, I'm in it with you together. We're going to build this football program to the best football program in Division II. We're going to do it, and right now this is the first step to do it, and taking care of this. So I appreciate everybody being on this Zoom call. If you have questions now, Emily and Dr. Gray, I'd feel free to answer any questions that the group might have or start the conversation.
All right, so the first question is from Jay Callahan, and he wants to make sure that this locker room looks better than Westchester's.
Most everything we do is better than Westchester, okay? And I don't look over my shoulder at the Golden frickin' Rams. To heck with the Golden Rams. We're going to blow out everybody. Ain't just Westchester. We're talking everybody. We will go after this thing better than anybody else. And you know what? Hey, we all have our own little rivalries. In 2020, you know, it's going to be better than Millersville, Westchester, Bloomsburg, Shippensburg, Kutztown, Shepherd. You name it, we're going after them. But Westchester is going to be better.
All right. The next question is anonymous, but they were wondering if you could show them the floor plan of the locker room. Do you have what that would look like?
Yes. Okay. I'm going to share my screen with everybody. So this is the plan that Dr. Gray, myself, Ken Long supplied to the architects of this. Now, for you old football guys that know this, I want to point out a few things so you have an idea where we're at. This spot right here, okay? That spot right there, excuse me, I can't put in Westchester colors on this. Excuse me, I won't do that again. This spot right here is the old equipment room, okay? So if you play with Bill Mosteller was your equipment guy, Bananas, Joey Bananas, okay? He's right here. Art Kroll, this is the equipment room. So as you walk in, we're going in through this section. Right here, as you enter, we're going to put a hole in the wall, and on this side of the locker room is the offense. Okay, so this is the offensive section. This side is the defense. If you're a special teams, a kicker, we love you, but you're in this corner over here so you can be able to rock and roll. Heinze, Croge, and the boys, if anybody that ever played here understands that this middle row, that's the offensive line and defensive line trench. if you played on the offensive line, okay, or the defensive line, you're going in the middle of the room. To me, you win and lose games up front. So these suckers are right smack in the middle. We'll put the quarterbacks in the corner. Okay, the daggone offense and defensive linemen are in the middle of the locker room. This section right here, which I was talking about, Mancoos, our program is we break it up into houses. We have 6 house leaders offensively, 6 house leaders defensively. You might say, Twig, how'd you come up with that? I'm a huge Game of Thrones fan, okay? So these are the leaders offensively, the captains of our offense. Every year, these will change. This is where the offensive captains go. This is where the defensive captains go, okay? As you go through here, okay, I made mention of Doug Leonzi, the old hats. Doug has graciously, provided, and he donated $50,000, okay, and donated an unbelievable wall of champions. So when you walk through here and you open up, you should be able to see anybody that ever wore a red jersey. It was all Pennsylvania Conference, all American, academic. You should be able to see anybody that was ever on a championship team, commemorated in a progressive way that we have been able to do. So this is the wall of champions. It goes all the way through. Now, we also provided to the architect plans, which we're waiting for okays on, for an academic center in the corner, okay? For those of you academic guys, you know it. I don't know how many times you had to run up to the football office. Hey, Coach Dowds, can I print something off? I got a paper to run down there. You ain't got to do it up in the football office anymore. We're looking at putting this directly in the locker room. And then last but not least, many of you got your football coaches' careers started at East Stroudsburg, and we had the Taj Mahal. Well, this is the new Taj Mahal coach's office that we're going to put right in here. So as you leave for game day, you walk straight out. Here's the ramp for our parents that are currently on the call. That warrior walk that we do with the band and the cheerleaders, this is where we're coming down through the ramp. We're going into the house that Denny built, and we're going to take care of business on Saturday afternoons. And that's kind of the floor plan that we provided to the architects as we build this room.
All right. Can you clarify for us where the names will be on the locker room if you purchase one? And then at the same time, can you clarify where this player's name will be on the locker room?
Sure.
On the
sure.
locker, sorry.
So I'll show you another picture. Baltzy, where are you at, Baltzy? Can you hear me? Are you muted? Baltzy, okay. If you donate a locker, okay, this is what the locker will look like, okay? So Baltzy played with me in 06. We're going to put your nameplate. This locker was donated by a true warrior, Zach Baltzy. I'm hoping that we can put some sort of commemorative, saying on top of it. Heinze, we might have to make sure yours is parentally supervised. We don't need, anything and put on here. But what you're going to have is somewhere on the lockbox here, and then the player's name right here. So the first thing he does when he comes in and sees his name and his number, it's whose locker be able to put in that. Again, they're 26-inch cherry lockers with a lockbox on top, and that's kind of where your name will be commemorated on.
How are the current athletes doing, and what do they think of the plan? Have they seen the plan? Are they excited about the plan?
Well, I could try to put words in their mouth. We got a few players on this. Who is on this right now? Reese Bender, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Reese, you give them the real deal. You talk to him. This is blood runs thick. Reese Bender, he's a wide receiver out of Manheim Township, Pennsylvania. He'll be a junior. He's a returner for us. Reese, if you could answer that question for him.
Definitely. Players during this time, obviously it's a tough time for all players, but everyone's doing well. We're checking in with everybody recently. We're having family meetings, so we're always looking up on each other with the family. With Coach brought up with the house leaders earlier, so the house leaders are always checking up on each other. So the family aspect is coming more into play now than it ever has, honestly. The plan has also been introduced to the players as a council. So we have the council. Coach did not bring that up earlier, but the council members are in here as well. Those are some other teammates. They're also in this meeting. We were introduced to the plan as well. So we saw it, went over it, what we approved. So it was also player approved as well as coach approved and athletic department approved. So we love it. We back it completely. And the biggest thing about it, I think, is it's not real. You can call it a locker room, but I'm going to call it a home. Because even with the old locker room, you see what we are, I wouldn't even say dealing with, but what we have currently. And you go in there during the day. People are doing homework in there during the day. People are sleeping in there during the day. After practice, practice might end at 6 o'clock. People are in there till 8:30. You get there, you go right there in the morning. You go get stuff in the morning. People are there for their entire day. So when you look at this being a locker room, I wouldn't even classify it as that. I would classify it as a home for us. And it's something that can really not only change recruiting, but change the lives of people, honestly, because it is a safe place for everyone that builds relationships that you can't build anywhere else.
Thanks, Reese. Dave, maybe a different perspective, Dave, from your end of it, if you could unmute yourself and answer that question from a different perspective. Introduce yourself, Dave.
Nice to meet everybody. My name's Dave. I'm a redshirt sophomore. I play fullback for East Stroudsburg. Good to see everybody. Reese kind of took the main points of our coordinated thoughts on the locker room, but when it comes to it, like he said, it's a home. So it's another home for us players to not only interact with each other and involve ourselves in team engagement, but also build relationships. When it comes to all the stuff we do with workouts or going to practices and having our games at the field, it's all that stuff begins at the locker room. So all the stuff that we do, all the stuff that we interact with and engage with each other, it ends up becoming a snowball effect. So all the little things that we do together ends up becoming chemistry, and we end up building that chemistry, and then that byproduct is how we perform on the field. So not only with that locker room being made and help and getting processed, it will not only help us develop as individuals, but it help us develop as a team as well.
I'll add on to that, and that question, I don't know who asked it, but here's where we're at. This is an odd period of time for me. I never in my life have I ever fished on a Saturday afternoon in October. I never did before. I looked at my wife and said, what do I use? What's in the tackle box? This is new to me. Our players now, have been off of football. We're supposed to be beating Millersville this week. It's been no spring ball, no season. We're working our tail off right now to be able to get some football in this spring. And our athletic director and our president, Ken Long, right now has been doing everything that they can to bring athletes back on campus. My goal is simple this. We rally the troops, get this together, so the next time our players step foot on campus and they play a football game, they're walking into a new field, a new locker room. That's the goal. The goal is that when we cut this ribbon, we're cutting it to get to fall camp, and go light it up and get back to Warrior greatness. So hope that worked out.
All right. The next question we have is from Gregory Bunch, and he wants to know what options are available for payments.
I'll defer that one to the foundation. So if Shelly, if you wanted to take over with that question, maybe that could work.
Sure, absolutely. Hi, hello everyone. Good to see you all. Just for quick response, we take a variety of payment forms. You can pay by check, made payable to the ESU Foundation. We can do credit card options, reoccurring credit card by month if you wish. There's some higher level transfer options, electronic fund transfers, stock transfers if you're looking at one of the larger opportunities to get involved. So really almost any form of payment we can accept through the ESU Foundation. And if you want to just check in with us, give us a call. We can talk through your specific scenario and work with you to set up what makes sense for you on your end.
Shelly, you want to take the time frame, kind of the time span?
I'm sorry, what?
Do you want to mention the time span of the payments?
Sure, yes. Actually, good point, Dr. Gray, thank you. The $5,000 options and the $2,500 options are payable over a 5-year period. So by way of that, if you're looking at purchasing a locker, solely your own locker, you could be looking at $1,000 a year for 5 years for the completion of that payment.
One nice thing that the foundation did for us just today is you can do everything online now. You know, we will send hard copies and we'll do that, but also there'll be a link sent to everybody that's on this meeting through your email that you can do it directly online. I know I don't handle the finances in my house. Miss Twig does. So that's her realm there.
Just to let everybody know before we move on to the next question, if you go in the chat, you can copy and paste the link. That'll take you right over to show you all the renderings of the locker rooms. It answers a lot of questions, give you some history of the locker rooms. You can see pictures of the lockers. So in the chat, it's www.youwininthelockerroomfirst.com. So another question we have is, are the donations targeted towards past players, or can private donations be given from alumni that did not play for ESU but are full supporters?
Great question. Listen, this locker room is a lot of things to a lot of people. To me, the end product is what we're getting to. It's like, I'm a quarterback. Shoot, I want to throw the ball 50 times a game, but if we can run ISO, we can run ISO all day and come out with a W. That's a great deal. So, to me, we're open to anything. So if you know a business, a local supporter, somebody that's interested in this, my goal, and I'll be very frank with you, is that we over fundraise this. We're going to set a goal at 750, and that's, listen, goals are meant to be smashed, records are made to be broken. We're going to set a goal at 750. My goal, my option is let's blow that out of the water. And whatever we left with, let's use it towards football scholarships and fill it more with unbelievable football players. We win in the locker room first. Let's focus on getting that done. How we get that done is a secondary factor to me. Other than let's sell 110 lockers, put people's names on here that need to. If you know of somebody who's a corporate sponsor or can give in a bigger way to this. For naming opportunities, we have about 7 different naming opportunities, including, if somebody is interested in naming the entire room for $200,000, we'll do whatever we need to do to be able to put this together for our players. And when all is said and done, we cut the tape, that room should embody the traditions of the past and be excited about the Warriors of the future. The other thing I want to make mention to is this room will be progressively designed. When we look at this, if it's going to be the best, we said, is it going to be better than Westchester? Listen, it's going to be better than everybody. So it's going to take some time, talent, and treasure to be able to put this thing together. But when we walk a recruit in to this room, there's got to have a wow factor. And that's something that I need to put on the table to everybody.
As I read through this question, it might be directed towards the students, the athletes a little bit, but what do you think will be the biggest improvement from the current locker to the new locker that we're headed into?
Well, listen, I could speak personally on this because I played in the old locker room, but let's go to some players here. Let's go Andre Eldridge, big dozer. Introduce yourself to the group, Andre. Andre's a defensive tackle. He's a quarterback killer now. Thompson, I don't know if he got the get off that you got, but Dre's pretty close. Okay, Dre, introduce yourself to guys and answer that question for me.
Andre Eldridge. I'm from South Brunswick, New Jersey. And in all honesty, getting this new locker room, hopefully that we do get it and it all goes well. But getting this locker room is actually huge for the program. I know when I was in high school, I was on the championship team. And that is like a big thing as far as like the locker room, because we did everything there. We went there and got dressed, went there and for like somebody would not have like class would get canceled, go to the locker room. We used to eat lunch in the locker room. You know what I mean? I think people don't see how big it actually is. The update with the space from the old locker room to the new locker room is going to be huge. The new lockers, the accessibility that we have, even with the printing room that they were talking about, I didn't know about that, but that's a great idea. A lot of cats go in the locker room to do everything. They'll go in there to do homework if they have quiet time. If it's just quiet in there, people will just go in there and do anything. I've seen people play cards. I've seen people take naps, anything. And like Bender said, I've seen people after practice stay in the locker room for like 2-3 more hours, just chilling in there. It's just a really big thing. And as for like a team, I know other players can relate. You make a lot of relationships in the locker room, especially with your teammates. I might not see Reese on the field because I play defensive line and he plays receiver. So we may not see each other during practice, but once we get back in the locker room, I can have a conversation and we could talk about things that happen. And I think that's just huge for the program, because the more you want to do it for the guy next to you and the more that you buy into the program, the better off we are.
Okay, give me another one. Isaiah Regal. Riggs, are you on?
Yeah.
Can you unmute your mic? Riggs, introduce yourself. Defensive end, another quarterback killer at a Wilson Westlawn. So introduce yourself, Riggs.
I'm Isaiah Regal. I'm going into my senior year. I'm a defensive end / defensive tackle. Basically, our biggest things that we need to go from improvement-wise is the hardships that the old locker room, it's old. There's no other way to put it. You saw in the video, they're talking about hangars that are 50 years old. The lockers are how much older. But when I came to East Stroudsburg, I remember taking my visit and played at a pretty good high school. We had pretty good backing from our donors and alumni as well. And I just remember from even high school ball, locker room was everything. We do everything there. Even when I got to college, do everything there. Like the guys say, we do homework. That's where you get to meet all the other players that you wouldn't see in a practice. Defensive linemen, I hang out with linemen. I'm with the guys on the D-line in the trenches. I'm going up with the O-linemen. I'm with them almost all practice. But with the locker room, especially with the new game plan, with the floor plan that we have set up, it's more open. The defensive linemen are going to get to see and be around more of the skill players, more of the linebackers, and just more open that everybody's going to get to see each other instead of being all cramped in the back with the higher end numbers.
Thanks, Riggs. Okay. Em, I hope that was good.
That was perfect. Thank you. So we have another question. Can you split the locker with another Warrior, and can you both get your names on the locker?
Yes. I can answer that. So, hey, I can't do a $5,000 locker. You can certainly go in with somebody for $2,500, okay, and both your names can be put on the locker. $2,500 could be broken up over 5 years, so you can be able to do that. That's absolutely an option.
Great. So we're going to take one last question, and then we'll ask Dr. Gray to wrap it up. We want to be cognizant of everybody's time. So the last question, when will ground be broken, and how long will it take to complete, and what is the target date for completion?
I'm going to steal a quote from my dad. I steal a lot of quotes from you, man, but you always say when you start picking up a hammer, Big Red starts asking questions. Okay. So listen, the construction time, what we've been given is a 6 month period. So the goal for me, if we can have all funds identified by January 1, okay, from now to January 1, we can put the, Jerry Maguire, show me the money, put it down here and get it done. That will cut the tape by next year, by next football season. That's the goal. I do want to make mention that when this dream started becoming a reality, like there's a couple people on here that that are really special to this. Like Marsha Welsh is our former university president. She's enjoying Florida right now. She met with me on the front end of this, and she started putting this whole thing together. So Dr. Welsh, I know you're enjoying Florida. I know you're enjoying your time down there, but this was a big project that you started. And then our interim president right now, Ken Long, he embraced this project and said, the time is now, it's important to do it. So when you look at the timing, both of those two entities on our campus, the leaders of our campus both said, hey, listen, here it is, go get it done. If you can build it, they will come. Okay. And that to me is the big thing. If we can build this, they will come. So, that's the goal. And we're going to identify the funds by January 1. We have 130 plus locker commitments out right now. My one fear and anxiety, if I have some, is that people are going to want to put their name in this locker. They're going to want to, give in a good way, and we've forgotten to ask, or they didn't get this. So it would really mean a lot to me if you are going to go in on this and you're going to say, hey, listen, I'm in for Warrior football. I'm a true Warrior. I'm joining this. If you are going to, please, bring somebody along with, say, hey, Munchman, call your guys up. If you're going in, if somebody else is going in, I would hate that somebody said, man, I missed the boat, or, I didn't get to contact somebody. There's been so many great phone calls that I've had. We've got 135 commitments in. So if a Warrior says he's going to do something, a Warrior does it. And, right now I get a little bit concerned that we're going to fill this up too quickly and people aren't going to get asked. Okay. So if you would join us in this, it would be an unbelievable impact to our football program. Step number one to win. And then, make sure you reach out to the guys that are also bleed Warrior red, and make sure that gets done as well.
Okay. Wow. Now I hope you can see why I'm so excited about this, and why I said earlier it's the most exciting fundraising project I've been involved in all of my time in Division II athletics. So I think that wraps it up for tonight. We want to thank you so much for joining us. Emily, thanks for all you did, and executive committee, Jimmy, Denny, Coach Flaherty, Twig, everyone who's helped with this thus far. Thanks so much for joining us, making this and being a part of this very exciting campaign and project. By you being with us here tonight, I think it shows how important ESU and our football program both are to you, and we appreciate that. Not only for the memories and experience you had as a player, maybe as a fan, but also recognizing how crucial it is for Warrior football to take these steps and move forward in every aspect of the program. I ask you to give serious thought to playing a role in this campaign that means so much to the future of this NCAA Division II football program. Take a look in the chat area for the foundation's web information and contact information to make your gift of support, or contact a member of the committee or foundation staff to learn about the leadership gift opportunities that remain available. Remember, it's completely affordable at $500 a year for 5 years. And it's just, I'm with Jimmy. I think it's going to be off the charts, and we hope we don't forget giving anybody and everybody an opportunity. You can also expect to hear from a member of the committee to tell you more about the project and how you can help make a difference. You can be the difference. We're excited for Warriors of every generation to be part of this incredible opportunity. And when our collegiate competitions begin again, as we know they will, I know you'll be there cheering on our student athletes, who will be incredibly grateful for all your support. So finally, let's just go out and build the best football locker room in all of Division II. We know we can do it. We're looking forward to your partnership. Contact us anytime if you have questions. Thank you very, very much, and enjoy the rest of your evening. We're looking forward to hearing from you in the near future. Thanks, everybody.